So yeah, story time. Check this out. When I look at the PGA Tour and the live thing with Monahan and what he's telling them to do, it's very hypocritical. We don't know all the details, but obviously the quick thing to say is, "Hey, man, you told them not to take the money, and you turned around and you took the money." Simple as that. Players should be pissed, but we don't always know what really happened. But we kind of do, right? But this reminds me of a personal story of mine, and it's slightly funny. It's be a little long-winded, but I'll try to give you guys some context and then break it down for you. So when I first joined the Army, I was enrolled in a junior college, just coming off of getting ready to play my junior college football season, and then I made a life-altering decision to join the Army. I show up, I'm running under 5-minute or under 6-minute miles. I'm doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups. I'm a 350 PT guy, meaning I'm in phenomenal shape. My drill sergeants love me. Basic training was easy for me. The workouts weren't that hard. Nobody was worth a damn. Like, I was looking around going, yo, this is all it is? I just got to beat these guys? Like, it was always a competition, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I loved everything about it. And there was a moment where we had to go do something called land navigation. You go out into the woods, you learn how to use a compass, you shoot your lensatic compass, you shoot your azimuth, you got a protractor, you got to plot some points. You learn all different things, declination diagrams, whatever. You learn about things and you're supposed to apply it. But it still, to me, was a competition. It's like, they're going to give me 4 points. I got to go find them as fast as possible. And I'm not losing to anybody. I'm going to go find these points. So I can remember going out to this land nav course, doing it, 28 minutes, first one done. I'm chilling. I'm like, yo, I got this. And everybody else had like 3 hours. We all had 3 hours, but I got it done. And so we're just sitting around waiting. And then these two girls didn't make it. They didn't find their points. And they were walking around the woods together. They came out with like this long staff, like they're a fucking willow or whatever. They were like walking around. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, they're all messing around. I'm like, what is this? They're not killers, bruh. They were clerks or something. So, yeah, I'm at Fort Leonard Wood. It is a co-ed basic training, whatever. So anyways, we go into this bay, 3rd floor. We're sitting up there. I am the student platoon sergeant, so I'm sitting in front of everybody. Everybody's in their 4 squads, and the drill sergeants burst in, a big old stack of paper, and they're screaming and yelling at us, 2 of them, and they're going off. And apparently what happened was those girls, while they were on the course, they ran into the company commander. Now, when you're in basic training, you only talk to the drill sergeants. You don't even know, like the senior drill sergeant, he's there, he's in charge of everybody, he's the E7, but then there's the first sergeant and the commander. You don't even talk to them. Like, you see them here and there, but they're so much higher up the totem pole, you don't know who the hell they are. But it's pretty simple. You're out on the land nav course. A captain walks up to you. He's got these railroad tracks in the middle. Boom. You salute. You stand at attention, and you answer the questions when given, and you keep it moving. They didn't do that. They didn't salute him. They didn't give him the greeting of the day, and they talked to him like they were back on the block hanging out with him. So we're all getting written up. Mass punishment, pretty normal. Everybody's going to get written up. So it's a 4856. It's a counseling statement. It's DROG. It's a bad paper. We didn't know what it was. It was our first time ever seeing it. Very intimidating. Sometimes the verbiage used on there, very intimidating. Like the infractions at the very top. It said, the reason for this counseling was disrespect of a commissioned officer, failure to adhere to certain customs and courtesies, i.e. the hand salute, all kinds of stuff. And I remember we read this, and they had one for each person. We're like, we didn't do this. Like, I read it. I'm like, I didn't disrespect nobody. I was out killing it. Like, what are we doing? What is this? So we start panicking, and they tell us, hey, you got all night. Write your plan of action on the flip side, on the back side, on how you're going to address this issue. Like, what kind of punishment do you deserve? That kind of thing. When you're a parent and you tell your kids, what do you think we should do about this? And the kid's like, I don't know, give me a spanking. No, nobody talks crazy. You don't want too much of a punishment. But this was different because none of us did it. It was only those 2 girls. So we didn't know what to do. So we went down the hall to these other dudes. There was 3 dudes down the hall in our bay. We slept in big bays with a lot of people. But there was 3 dudes that had their own bay. They were graduates of basic training. They hadn't gone to advanced individual training or AIT. They were holdovers or hold-unders for their security clearance. So they couldn't go to their next duty station. They were just there. But they're not getting yelled at by drill sergeants. They're not at formations. We think they're a permanent party. They know what the fuck's going on. They're amazing. We're going to talk to these adults, these people who've been through it, and we're going to ask them for some advice. So I walk in there as the platoon sergeant, and I'm like, hey, guys, we just got this paperwork. What do we do with this? And the guy goes, oh, we never got one of those. He's like, but I heard as long as you all check the box that says you do not agree and you all do not agree together, you're going to be okay. Just make sure everybody does it together, and then you got to write your justification in that box of why you don't agree. Guys, just so you know, this is terrible advice. That do not agree or agree box has nothing to do with the punishment or the plan of action. That has more to do with the administrative data, but it's a whole nother story. So anyways, I go back to the bay. I walk in. I'm all right, guys, here's the plan. We're all going to check do not agree. We're going to be a unit, a team together. We're going to check do not agree. Everybody stick to our guns. Let's do not agree. And then tonight, write what punishment or why you don't agree, whatever. So there's a guy named Roy. He's like 36 years old. My dad was 40 at this time, by the way. So he was old to me. He was like my dad. This dude was doing civil affairs, something. He was boring as hell. And he just sat there. He put on his little reader glasses and he just started writing. And he filled up the box full of shit. Started flipping the paper sideways, writing on the edges. And he's talking about his integrity and his respect for authority and how he would never do such a thing. He should not be punished. And oh my God, he wrote so impressive. I was like, I'm exhausted just reading his shit. So I just went and started doing push-ups. We had 1 hour of personal time to each other every single night. And most people wrote to their loved ones. We didn't have cell phones or nothing. It was 20 years ago. So everybody's just writing to their loved ones, love letters to their high school sweethearts, whatever. Everybody's doing that shit like you see in the movies. We're all writing letters and you get your mail call and all that. So we're all writing in our bunks. I'm not. I am trying to intimidate the entire world. I am doing push-ups every night, sit-ups every night. I am trying to get a 350 PT score. I am here to rip it. I ain't got time to talk to nobody. Even when we went to the phone booths with the calling cards, I didn't use my calling card. I would sell it to somebody for $20 and let them use my time in the booth, 2 minutes or whatever. I don't need to call anyone. You can ask my parents. You can ask my brother and sister. I didn't call no one. I didn't write no letters. I didn't give a shit. I'm out here to take over the world. And then I go take a shower before 9 p.m., before 2100. And then I go to bed. And I forgot to check that box, and I forgot to justify why I shouldn't receive the punishment. So the next morning, we're all behind. We're all in a hurry. I go and check the I agree box. I'm different from everyone else. I told them all to do this, but at the last second, I just put I agree because I didn't have time to explain myself. And I threw it on the stack and just gave it to the drill sergeant. And we're all sitting there in the bay. I'm up front, 4 squads behind me. And sure enough, he starts losing. And he says, none of you have the personal courage to face the punishment. What is this shit? And he's like, Roy, what is this? And he's turning it all different ways. He can't even read it. And he's like, Roy, what the is this? You know, are you a politician? All this shit. He goes, only one person is man enough with enough courage to face the punishment. Only one person can just shut up and push forward. That's how you win wars. And he's doing all this shit. And mind you, he'd never deployed before. So anyways, he says, that one person, you can stand up right now and pick your favorite battle buddy. The rest of you outside. You two can stay up here. So I stand up and I can just hear everybody behind me just gasping like, oh my God, that motherfucker. You know, they're all pissed or whatever. So I stand up and I grab my battle buddy and his name was Ramirez. I say, Ramirez, you're with me. So we stay up and on the 3rd floor, we're looking out the window and they're getting front, back, goad, flutter kicked, everything out on the pad. They're getting murdered. And we're just up there chilling. We didn't sweat that day. We're chilling. And he's like, Rico, how did you do that, man? How did you know? I said, dude, I didn't. It was just, I told everybody to do this and then I changed my mind and I went the other way. And he's like, dude, that's crazy. He goes, they're going to be pissed. Nobody's kicking my ass, bro. I'm like, I'm all right. Don't worry about it. He goes, no, they're going to be mad. So 2 days later, I'm going to get my clothes out the dryer. And all my clothes are in a tree outside a window. They tore off the screen, threw my clothes out the window. Nobody's gonna do anything to me. I just laughed. So I can see where some of these PGA Tour members are gonna want to throw the clothes out the window. Like for real, for real.